Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. All the support. And I'm very humbled by it. So last week I did a video and a lot of people's hearts dropped. I don't know why, but unfortunately, their hearts dropped. And the video was titled, Boxer Enriquez is Gone. And for those of you that live the gang lifestyle in California, you know exactly who Boxer Enriquez is. Okay. He is the proprietor of Rene Boxer Enriquez Uncensored, the YouTube channel. He has affiliation and, with Mundo Mendoza in the channel The Mob Spot. And he's just known throughout the state of California as a very treacherous individual and part of, an organization in the past. Now, for those of you that don't know his story, it's all over the internet. Okay, this man had status at a very high level in Southern California and defected from that. Let that go. Changed his life. Distanced himself. Decided that was no longer the life he wanted to live. And for whatever reasons it is, his reasons and his reasons only, he's put it out there. That man walked away from that life. Okay, and now is living the life that he wants to. Hey, no harm, no foul. Okay, no flag on the play. That's the good thing about the world. Every man is entitled to make his own decisions in life. Some are going to come with bad repercussions. Some are not. In his case, I think we all know by now, there's repercussions. Now, whether that ever catches up to him, whether that energy for what he done and what he said catches up to him, I would hope not. I don't wish that bad upon anybody, myself, him included, nobody, right? But at the end of the day, it's just reality. Reality is when you're part of the gang lifestyle, when you're a part of an organization or a group, when you've done time in the CDCR and you function at a different level and you've involved yourself in violence and treachery, disloyalty, anything that it may be, then you need to understand there's rules and regulations to that. They come with that. Now, most individuals understand that. I'm sure Boxer, being as intelligent as he is, he understands, the get down. But still, that doesn't mean that has an overbearing, that plays an overbearing part in the choices that he has made. Okay, you know that a snitch or a rat or whatever labels they give it, is considered the bottom of the barrel, the worst of the worst. And still, people will make those choices because they either want to go home. They don't want to get a lot of time. They're not really loyal to what they claim, or, it's their own selfish intentions. And then there are those that truly have changed their lives. And them words are not as powerful as they once were when they were part of that life. When you're a part of that life, when you're gangbanging, when you're in the mix, the word snitch and rat and all that, debriefer, all that weighs heavy. That weighs heavy on the heart and the mind. Those are the type of individuals that everyone is trying to seek and destroy. Okay? When your mindset changes, when you realize, hey, man, this ain't everything it's cracked up to be. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Then them words are taken lightly by some, not all. There are those of us that still hold true to certain core values and be like, you know what? Hey, no disrespect to anyone else who have broke, bent, or whatever. I don't know their story, nor does it affect me. I'm not here to slander a man's name, defecate on his character, trip out on him, because it's a serious matter and it could get people seriously hurt. But when you take those words lightly and you decide, hey, I don't care what anyone thinks, well, then you have to make your bed and lay in it. In Boxer's case, he has a different type of mentality. I believe his mentality now is changing people's perspective and perception on how he really was and why he did the things he did. That's why he's telling the story. Maybe it could help a few individuals out there that are striving to become what he once was, or to even involve themselves in that lifestyle period. When you hear it out the horse's mouth, it just hits different. And that's why I believe boxers' channels are important to the YouTube community, because those that watch the prison genre, you can get pulled in by a bunch of fucking poop butts, a bunch of people that did level 2 time, never were really there, never really functioned around serious individuals. And they can know a little bit about a lot of it and tell you guys some stories and have you believing truly that what they say is pura, 10-5 aquí. And at the end of the day, you find yourself incarcerated, putting into effect the things that they told you, the stories that they said, and that could get you caught up in a worse situation. Because usually, and this is the facts, when you're listening to these content creators, prison genre content creators that are telling you these stories, some people may think that they're glorifying, some are just telling their own personal stories or other stories, but in a way as not to disrespect anyone. And you may take it wrong. You may think that they know everything. They were some type of shot caller. They were really making moves, power moves, wearing shower shoes. They were really on these level 4 yards. And really what they're doing is they're regurgitating other people's stories that are myths and legends and stories that you have heard in the CDCR. Everybody knows the same shit. Everyone knows about the Pelican Bay riot. Everybody knows about the Corcoran Gladiator Wars. Everybody knows about the fucking the riot in New Folsom. Everybody knows about, the politics when it comes to the end of hostilities and what's happening now within the system. But a lot of people that speak on it weren't truly on the front line. Okay? That's why there's things I will and I will not expose or speak on. Because at the end of the day, anything after the time I got out, I don't know shit about. That's a fact. I try to distance myself from the realities of prison and what's going on today, now, because I don't know what's going on, other than what I read, hear, and see from other people. Now, there are some individuals like Boxer Enriquez, when I hear about the history, or Mundo, or even Boxer from Paradigm Media News, when I listen, Dubs as well, to the history, to the places they've been, to the way it was, I know fact from fiction. I know real from fucking real and realistic from really real not, right? Anyways, Boxer is one of those channels and one of those people that he definitely lived that life and decided to step away from it for his reasons. Okay. Now, I'm not going to call him anything other than his name, Rene. And that's because I'm not in a position to disrespect that man. I've never lived in that man's shoes. I never portrayed myself as living in his shoes. I had my Nikes on. He had his on. How he stepped. How I stepped. That was about it. A lot of people have been asking me questions. And I'm going to get to the gist of this whole, the content and why I'm doing this, right? Because I need to ask a favor from Boxer Enriquez. It's a small favor, and he'll understand it, I'm sure, as an intelligent, a respectable man. And all I could do was ask, and that's that. And I have my reasonings for it. So with Boxer, right? Enriquez, his situation is explosive. The type of person he was, where he was from, what he achieved within the system doesn't mean a lot to those on the streets. In fact, there's people that ask me questions all the time. How does it feel to be an ex-gang member? How does it feel to be, no longer able to go in your neighborhood or kick it with your homies? And it feels good. It feels good knowing that I don't need anybody else's, a hug or pat on the back or say so or any of that. I can just be on my own, pay attention to my fucking realisms in life, which are my family, my children, my bills, myself, my health, right? I don't need to put the gang and the homies in front of all that, because at one point in time I did, before everything, family, children, everything included, batteries not included. Okay. It was just my whole function in my life was ingrained into the Norteño cause. That's all I cared about. I once seen that Gangland episode with that dude Ash Ali, who I knew personally, right? And he talked about, he ate, slept, dreamed, fucking breathed a certain organization, right? And I understood where he was coming from, because it becomes like that. You become educated and indoctrinated so tough into the lifestyle that it becomes your everything. That's all you care about. Anything you do, I don't give a fuck if it's fucking a torta. I'm doing it for the cause, right? Everything is what it is. Now, The other day, Boxer Enriquez's channel got hacked. And when I seen that happen, I was told by a homie, hey, man, his channel was just hacked. This is the get down behind the scenes, YouTube content shit. I decided to make a video. And my video wasn't out of respect for Boxer. I respect the man. No doubt about it. Not because he's a killer, not because he has bodies, not because of who he was or who he is, but because I believe every man should respect the man for his choices or whatever. They don't affect me. I don't affect him. But if we could affect some change in the way people look at ex-convicts, ex-gang members, people that really were involved, right? Then we can make something positive out of a world of chaos, right? That's how I feel. And I do it through comedy. I do it through my YouTube content. I do it through this, right? And he has his own way of doing it. I can't hate on the man. He plays his little wiretap videos and does his thing. And hey, cool. If that's the content that's going to get people listening to your message, then that's what the fuck it is, right? Me, I'm going to make you laugh and then I can make you cry. Facts. So when I seen his channel was hacked, not only did I feel for him because I know what it is to lose your channel. I lost my first channel, but I also felt that it was necessary to inform people. And I hate the word inform because it sounds weird. It sounds weird, especially speaking about this man, right? And I'm not trying to be funny or take shots. I'm just being real. But I felt that I had to let the people know that they could become susceptible, especially if you have a YouTube channel or you're just you support channels, that there's fucking people out there, sneaky ass people trying to get you. Yes, those people still in the criminal lifestyle. Yes, those people that everybody admonish and everybody fucking glorify. Yes, they're trying to get even you. They don't care about your status. They don't care if you're active, if you're not active, if you're green, if you're blue, if you're black. If they have a chance to get in your pockets and take everything you and your family, your kids, your wife, whatever you have that you've worked hard for, they'll do it in a heartbeat, right? You could be the most solid, active homeboy from a barrio, very well respected. And if them scammers can get in your pocket, they'll take your shit. They don't care about that. Them rules don't apply. The only rules that apply in the streets are the streets. That's it. So he gets his channel snagged. He clicks onto something, whatever, right? I've never had interaction or a conversation with Boxer Enriquez in my life. Not at all. I've never talked to him behind the scenes. Never have been in the same room. Never have been in the same prison yard. There's a lot of people. Do you know Boxer? Did you do time with them? I mean, we were in the system at the same time. Maybe even the same prison at the same time in passing. But no, I was never on a yard with that man. No, I never functioned with them. No, I just don't know him. That don't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a cookie for that. It just is what it is, right? The system, albeit, is small and big all at the same time, kind of like Chito Ranas, fat and skinny at the same time. So I don't know the man, but his channel gets snatched up. I do my video for content purposes. And I bring awareness that, hey, this is what really happened with this channel. Make sure that you guys pay attention to what's going on. And that, in order for him to create a new channel, he just has to be steadfast in what he does, 10 toes down, and continue. I always say when people ask me how to build a channel, I say, man, you need to be humble, respectful, be yourself, and, be aggressive in your shit. Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. That's some good thing that I learned from my indoctrination in the Norteño plight, right? Was can't stop, won't stop. That mentality right there is keep on pushing, push, pull, strive, right? And, you got to be consistent. And that man has been consistent. He restarted his channel. He's back up. He let his supporters know. I don't like the word fans. I don't do that weird shit, right? But he let his supporters know that this is what it is. Now, in the midst of that, he thanked me. He thanked myself, Renegade Media, and Hector Bravo. 3 channels that immediately did content concerning what happened with Boxer Enriquez's channel, right? Kind of stuck our nose in the business. But at the end of the day, like I said, it wasn't to belittle that man or to shit on his character or to disrespect him. More so, it was to let people know, just how easily people can get tricked. The trickery dickery doc is real. And in doing so, Boxer does a video. He starts a new channel and he shouts myself, Renegade Media, and Hector Bravo's channels out, right? So I need a bottle. And I'm sure Boxer knows what it is. I need a favor, homie. And you guys can take it for however you want to take it, but this is just me. For me, my family, my sanity, my sake, my well-being, right? I appreciate the shout out. I appreciate the respect, but I don't need it, homie. Do me a bottle and just don't mention me on your channel. And this will be the last video I do on you. Look, I'll give you a pass right here. If something was to happen to me very bad and I was no longer in existence, of course everyone's gonna do videos. I got you. And same thing, right? Other than that, I'm not gonna do any more videos on you, bro, because I just want to distance myself from Boxer Enriquez. I feel that that's the safest thing to do. I also feel that, you know, not having known this man the way I know him, just what I know about him, I should be the last one to speak on what he's got going on or what went on with him because I don't know. You know, that's like certain content creators, man, that do videos over and over again about these different areas and different people that they've never functioned around or been a part of. And it's like, at some point, it's just disrespect. There's nothing else you can put on it. You know, it's just disrespect. Like, how is that going to help children to get away from gangs or people to realize, you know, what it really is? Nah, it just becomes a slander campaign, a shit show, and disrespect. And I don't want to be a part of that. With Boxer, I'm asking for a favor. Just you keep my name out of your mouth. I'm going to keep your name out of my mouth. Not because I don't like you, but because I don't want what's going on with you to affect me. You know, I had people getting at me like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying, you fuck with that dude like that. You know what I'm saying? Birds of a feather flock together. If you kick it with him, homie, you know what I'm saying, you can get what he, hey, look, I don't wish that upon no one, but hell no. Okay. I've learned in the past associating with dudes who were unsavory. And I know a lot of people think, oh, guns, you debriefed, you did that. I didn't do any of that. Never. Okay. I did my time. You know what I'm saying? I got out. That's it. There was no reason to do any of that. Oh, but you did this and you did. You know what I mean? You listen to the fucking nonsense, you're going to become nonsense. Pay no attention to the no sense. Have some sense, some common sense, right? My thing is, I'm not going to judge Boxer Enriquez and say, oh man, he shouldn't have did this or he shouldn't have did that. But coming from the lifestyle, I know he looks in the mirror sometimes and I know he thinks like, fuck, bro, fuck, right? Well, I do too. Fuck. That's with the capital F, right? And I just don't want, you know, I'm not all happy about it. Oh man, he shouted me out. There was people, hey, Boxer shouted you out. Boxer shouted you out. That's cool. No, hell no, that ain't cool. Hell no, that ain't cool. I wouldn't want him to shout me out if he was active and still in the mix or not active and not in the mix. Period. I don't want someone of his caliber and someone like that to even know I exist in life. But I did do a video with his name in it. I've done a couple videos in the past. So of course he knows who I am on YouTube. I'm a mover and shaker on YouTube, just like anyone else is that does content for years, right? But I just need that bottle. I'm not going to talk about you, bro. Don't talk about me because I'm getting a lot of flack from homeboys from my neighborhood, from my area, from my family members that are like, damn, you kick it with that dude? You chop it up with that dude? You talk to that dude? And I'm like, hell nah. Fuck no, right? And it's not because he's a bad person, but let's be real. Let's be honest. Some of the things that he's done in the past, some of the fucking content that's out there, the debriefing content and all that, like, there's a lot of motherfuckers that are trip on on you and your family because of someone else. And I just don't want to be associated or affiliated with that. It's not because I'm scared, but you know what I'm saying? There's rules and regulations to this shit. And I've tried to follow them to as much as I can in life. You know, and I can't let another person's program and what they do affect me. If you understand what I'm saying. So that's the favor I'm asking. No disrespect towards Boxer, man. I'm sure he's a good dude as far as cool people. I'm sure he has changed his life for the good. I'm sure he does mean well and is trying to help people. I believe he's truly one of the content creators that was in prison that really is. You know, but let's not get it twisted. We're all in this motherfucker to get a little bread, bro. So at the end of the day, you know, that's what it's all about. That's where our old ways of thinking kick in. You know, I just don't want to be associated or a part of what this guy's got going on. You know, people were like, damn, you helped him build his channel. I didn't help him do nothing. That man did that on his own. I merely just put out into the wind, man, hey, there's some shit going on. Keep trucha. That's it. So, you know, for those that are going to run with this and like, Gunner's scared, call it what you want, bro. I'm an older gentleman now with my children, man. Yeah, I don't want motherfuckers to approach me on the streets with my children behind someone else. If they're going to approach me for me. Don't approach me for him. I'm just saying do me that bottle. With that being said, I got bangers, giving bangers piggyback rides today. The knowledge you can't get in college, man, quietly as it's kept. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. And again, I'll say it more clearly, one more again. He gave me a shout out on his channel. He said, man, thank you to certain channels. Gracias, but I didn't need no recognition, man. And that's just that. The gun. Bang, bang.